Hey, Jocko. My name is Neil. I'm with Dorkaholics. Pleasure to be speaking with you today.
Hey, great to speak with you, buddy. Thank you so much.
No problem. My first question is, what has been your favorite part about New Amsterdam?
Gosh, sort of it in a way making a dream of mine come true, playing this character. I wanted to be a doctor. I believed it was going to happen so much that I had a medical symbol put on my high school ring. And got to college and in 12 years being at school, I was like, nah, no thanks. Let me take a theater class. And I did it. But once I started, I said I always wanted to play a doctor. Um, and I think I was like 15 years in as a professional actor, and I got to do a couple episodes of The Resident, which was great. And then came along Dr. Reynolds within that same year, so it kind of poured out. I think I just grew into that age to play a doctor, and it's just been a dream come true. Definitely will miss this job.
Does the hurricane at the end of season 4 have any major effects on the rest of season 5?
Oh, that's a good question. Well, I think that the hurricane, in a way, um, it taught the characters a lot about themselves. I'll give you an example. You know, Iggy had to step up and try to lead the hospital. Well, he learned that he can do that, and that's definitely going to carry over into season 5. I just read an episode today, episode 7, where some of that, excuse me, will have to come into play. Him knowing himself and him stepping up and doing what he has to do and fighting for what he believes in. And also during the hurricane, what comes to mind is my relationship with my father that begins there, and that carries over. So Neil, I don't know if you meant metaphorically, but that turns out to be a damn good question. Yeah.
I kind of want to follow up on that. So now that your character has met his long lost father, Horace, what is in store for Dr. Reynolds the rest of the season in that dynamic?
Yeah. I love being a fan of the show because I don't ask too many questions of the writers. I just want to see the script and see what happens. And they threw yet another curveball with the father situation. Um, and as I say that, I think, what else could they do? We can find out later he's kind of not your father or something. I don't know, something weird. They'll do that. They'll do that. Um, but yeah, so we're going to get more into that relationship. We're going to try to patch things up. We're going to try to find some forgiveness. But in the midst of doing all of that, you're going to find out something more about Horace that throws Reynolds for a loop. And I'm excited for the people to see that and actually learn from that situation.
Is there anything else you can tell us about your character's relationship with, let's say, Dr. Lauren Bloom?
Yeah. Yeah. That, you know what? We're gonna bring back some old stuff. We're gonna rehash some old stuff. We're gonna talk about some stuff with Reynolds and Bloom. I'm looking forward to people seeing that as well.
Mhm. Yeah. I guess ultimately for you, where do you want to see Dr. Reynolds end up at the end of the season? Maybe this doesn't have to be an indicator of what is to come, but where would you like to see him go?
Yeah. What I used to answer was I used to say, like, a couple seasons ago, I wanted him to become a father, but now he's done that, maybe not on the terms that he expected or in the way that he wished, but so now I want to see him, I guess, now that we're tapping into that again. I'd like to see him in a happy relationship. You know, I'd like to see him with a woman who's not married, and start to build a family of his own, because he seems to really want that, and I want that for him.
Mm, I love that. For you as an actor, are there any other dream roles you're interested in pursuing?
Yeah, that's a great question. I don't know specifically what role it would be, but I definitely would not mind if my next job was a comedy, because I love it. And I can tell I'm longing for it because I'm rarely serious on set, always joking around. Uh, and a lot of us are, it's so funny because it's like, the table read, we're reading all of this emotional, heavy stuff. Sometimes it's heavy, sometimes it's light in the script. And we'll, by the end of the episode, a lot of us will be tearing up, but all in between, we're just throwing some jabs in, throwing some jokes in, some of which actually makes it in, because the writers are always there and they're listening, and they make some adjustments sometimes, but we're just having so much fun. But it just and not to say that doing drama, I think that it's a good balance. But if I could do a comedy, that would be great. Movie wise, I love horror movies. I would love to be in one of those as well.
I keep on trying to press issue for what is to come, what is to come, and you're just dangling these little hints in front of me. So maybe we can talk about kind of what happens like when the cameras are off. Like any fun stories so far with your fellow cast and crew for the season?
I remember a couple of seasons ago, I was doing a scene with Helen Sharp, Freema, and we had Anupam Kher, who played Kapoor. He had a body double at the time. He was there, and his double was he fall asleep in the scene. He was in the bed, and he fell asleep and he started snoring. And we were almost done with this scene, but he started snoring so loud, but only the two of us could hear him, and no one else could hear the mics. They weren't picking it up. And so I looked at Freeman, and as soon as we looked at each other, we're like, there's no freaking way we're going to be able to get to this. And we started laughing so hard. And Ryan comes in at the end of that scene. So now he's got the laughing fits. And I struggled so hard to get through that scene. And that was really fun. That's a moment I won't ever forget.
It sounds like maybe you found some lifelong friends with your fellow cast.
Absolutely. Yeah, they're the best. They're fun. Me and Ryan just went on a bike ride across the city not long ago. We're gonna do that again soon, man. I love these guys.
Anything you can tell us about this fifth and final season?
Yeah, we're gonna get back to what the show is about and what touched people in the beginning. It's about the people. It's about the characters. When I say characters, I don't mean us. I don't mean the main characters, in which we will have plenty of that. But it's about the patients. It's about their stories, the stories that inspire us and keep us going, and get back to those episodes that you need that box of Kleenex next to you when you watch. You know what I mean? Something touching that brings it all back home. And I'm really excited about that. I think that we're going to close it out in a way with something that we can all be very proud of.
While preparing for this interview, I was like trying to see any existing conversations surrounding New Amsterdam, and I recently found out that they're having a Turkish adaptation of the series.
No way.
Yes, wait, I just read this morning. Hopefully it's not fake news, but let's assume it is true, which I'm confident it is. Do you have any advice as kind of like a 5-season veteran from this adaptation of the novel?
Focus on the patients and their stories and educate the public. I don't mean hit them over the head with stuff, but that's the thing about New Amsterdam. And what makes it magical is the fact that we can laugh and cry and learn. And I think it makes it very unique, especially as a medical drama. Not to say that when you watch Grey's Anatomy or Chicago, whatever's it Med, that you're not learning, but we hit you with some gems. So that's my advice to any shows that are going to follow in our footsteps and attempt to do a similar thing.
Thank you so much for your time today, Jocko. I really appreciate it. Looking forward to this final season of New Amsterdam.
Awesome. Thank you so much. Thanks for the interview.
Mm-hmm.